Above Earth, the night sky split open with light. Long lines of fire fell from space, cutting through clouds in silence. Cities went dark. Oceans shook. Satellites vanished in seconds, erased like sparks in cold air. To the Imperium, it was a clean and simple act. One sharp blow to end a small, stubborn species deep beneath the surface of the planet. Jahan stood in a quiet room filled with screens. The walls trembled as the impact waves reached the underground complex. Dust fell from the ceiling, but no alarm screamed. Everything was calm, almost too calm. Jahan did not move. His hands were behind his back. His face showed no fear, only focus. He watched numbers scroll across the screens. Defense grids activated exactly as planned. Energy shields flared above major cities. Hidden systems that Earth had never shown the galaxy, so it begins. He said softly. Far above, Imperium commanders watched their attack with pride. Their sensors showed fire and smoke. They saw broken satellites and ruined surface zones. They did not see the shields. They did not see the underground cities, the deep shelters, the quiet evacuation routes. They believed Earth was burning. On the surface, Hannah Lee ran through a narrow tunnel with a small group of civilians. Emergency lights painted the walls in dull red. The ground shook again, stronger this time. Someone screamed behind her. Hannah turned and grabbed the person's hand. "Keep moving," she said. Her voice shook, but she did not stop. She had trained for disasters. Earth had many plans. Still, nothing could fully prepare her for the sound of the sky breaking. Each step felt heavy, like the planet itself was crying under their feet. When they reached the shelter doors, steel walls closed behind them. The noise faded to a low hum. People sat on the floor, breathing hard. Some cried. Some stared at nothing. Hannah leaned against the wall. Her hands were shaking. Above them, Earth endured. The Imperium fleets pulled back after the strike. Their commanders spoke of success. Reports were sent across their empire. Earth had been punished. Resistance would end. But days passed, no surrender came. No message, no cry for mercy. In the command center, Jahan studied the wider picture. Trade routes shifted. Human ships vanished from public space lanes. Civilian traffic logs went silent. "They think we are dead," one officer said. Jahan nodded. Let them think that. Across the planet, hidden shipyards came alive. Deep space stations powered up for the first time in decades. Old cargo ships were stripped down and rebuilt. Armor replaced storage bays. Engines were pushed beyond safe limits. Sue Park wiped grease from his hands and stared at the hull in front of him. It had once carried food between stars. Now it carried weapons. "They won't see this coming," he said to no one. In a quiet archive chamber, Erikim scrolled through ancient Imperium records. She worked alone, surrounded by old data crystals and faded star maps. The Imperium loved to record its victories. It loved to remember how strong it was. Era searched for failures. She found them buried deep. Patterns of pride. Times when the Imperium struck first and assumed the war was already over. "They always stop watching," she whispered. Back on Earth, Hannah walked through the shelter halls, checking names, handing out water, calming children. Outside, the world was wounded but alive. Smoke rose from distant cities, but the skies were clear again. No Imperium ships returned. People asked questions. Why were they not attacking again? Why had the galaxy gone quiet? Hannah had no answers. Only a strange feeling in her chest. Fear mixed with something else. Hope Jahan stood before a small council. Military leaders, scientists, civilian voices. No shouting. No panic. "They struck us first," he said. "That fact will never change. What changes now is what comes next." Some wanted revenge. Some wanted peace. Jahan listened to all of them. Then he spoke again. "We will not answer today. Or tomorrow. We will answer when the galaxy is watching." Far away, Imperium scouts returned to the edges of human space. Their sensors found empty lanes. Silent stations. Dead signals. "This is strange," one officer said. "Earth is finished," another replied. The silence proves it, but unease spread through their ranks. Empires were built on control, not silence. An enemy that did not scream or beg was dangerous. On Earth, the lights slowly came back on. Hannah stepped outside for the first time since the strike. The sky was blue. The air smelled of smoke and rain. She looked up, half expecting fire to fall again. Nothing happened in space. Far from any star, human ships gathered in darkness. They did not speak. They waited. The galaxy waited for Earth to speak. It did not. Weeks passed after the first strike. Trade hubs buzzed with rumors. Some said Earth was dead. Others said humans had fled into deep space like frightened animals. Imperium officials spoke with calm voices and confident words, but their patrols doubled along the border. Silence made even strong empires nervous. Han watched the galaxy map change day by day. Human signals faded from public networks. Known colonies went dark on purpose. Long-used space lanes became empty. "They are looking for panic," he said. There was none. Instead, humanity moved like a shadow, in a hidden shipyard far from any charted star. Supark floated in a repair frame beside a massive hull. The ship had no name, no registry, no markings. Its surface was dull and uneven, covered in layered armor that bent light away from sensors. He checked a weld and nodded. "Engine output stable," he said. Around him, dozens of engineers worked in silence. No music played. No jokes were told. Everyone knew why they were here. Every bolt tightened was a quiet answer to the attack on Earth. Sue remembered the first broadcast images. Burning cities. Falling debris. He had watched them once, then never again. Now he worked. Across the system, another shipyard awakened. Then another. Old mining platforms shifted into weapon factories. Research stations unlocked sealed vaults. Designs that had been rejected as too extreme were taken out and built without hesitation. Humanity had always prepared for storms. The Imperium sent probes to ward. Earth, they never came back. Scout drones crossed the border and vanished. Communication signals died mid-sentence. Sensor echoes twisted and faded like ghosts. "This is not normal," an Imperium observer said. "No," his superior replied. "It is deception." They ordered a closer look. Near Earth, Hannah Lee helped reopen surface zones. Emergency crews cleared rubble. Medical centers overflowed, but did not collapse. People worked together, without orders, without fear. Hannah saw it everywhere. A quiet strength. No shouting. No blamed at night. She sat with survivors and listened to their stories. Loss, anger, questions. Why haven't we answered them? One man asked. Hannah looked at the stars through a cracked window. "Maybe we are," she said. He did not understand, but she felt it was true. In the archives, Eric Kim found more than records. She found warnings. She traced Imperium history back centuries. Again and again, the pattern repeated. Strike first. Declare victory. Stop watching. They believe fear ends wars. She said softly. Ara sent her findings to Jahan. He read them carefully. "They will come closer," he said. "They always do." The Imperium High Command debated Earth for the first time since the strike. Reports conflicted. Some systems near human space showed strange interference. Others showed nothing at all. "Earth hides," one commander said. "Earth waits," another replied. They decided to send a fleet, not to attack. To observe, the fleet crossed into what had once been busy human space. They found empty stations drifting with no power. Cargo docks sealed. Messages looping the same harmless greetings from years ago. "This is theater," Imperium captain said. Then his sensors failed. For 3 seconds, his ship saw nothing. When vision returned, human ships surrounded them. They were not massive. They were not beautiful. They were wrong. Built in shapes the Imperium did not use. Engines burned cold and sharp. Weapons were silent, pointed, patient. The human fleet did not fire. They vanished. The Imperium ships limped home, shaken, untouched. Humiliated news spread fast. Earth was not dead. Earth was watching in a quiet room on Earth. Jahan approved a single transmission. It carried no threats, no demands, only for words. Earth remembers you. The message echoed across neutral systems. Traders whispered it. Minor worlds repeated it. Even Imperium citizens heard it through leaks and rumors. Fear grew in small. Careful steps. Hannah watched the message replay on a public screen. People stood in silence. No cheers followed, just nods. She felt something shift. Humanity was no longer waiting to be saved. Far from Earth, fleets gathered in darkness. Thousands of ships, old and new, civilian and military, linked by shared purpose. No central beacon marked them. No signal gave them away. Unicho sat in the cockpit of a fighter that had once been a courier ship. Her hands rested on the controls. She had never planned to fight a war. She thought of her home, of the sky breaking. She closed her eyes and breathed. Unborder worlds began to notice shortages. Trade slowed. Communication delays grew longer. Something large was moving, and it was not afraid on Earth. Skies were calm, but beyond them. Humanity was done being silent. It began with darkness. Across the Imperium border, lights went out. Navigation beacons failed. Defense nets froze in half-awake states. Entire systems lost contact with their capitals for minutes at a time. Then for hours, Imperair IUM officers shouted orders that went nowhere. What is happening? One demanded, no one answered. In the deep black between stars, human fleets moved without sound. They did not travel in straight lines. They did not gather in proud formations. They slipped through gravity, shadows, and dead zones where sensors lied. No watched from a quiet command chamber far from Earth. The room held only a few officers. No banners. No raised voices. Begin, he said. Human ships emerged near the first Imperium relay world. The planet itself was left untouched. Instead, small craft spread out like seeds on the wind. They struck power stations, shipyards. Each hit was precise. Each strike was measured. Imperium ships rushed to respond, but their systems lagged. Weapons locked too slowly. Shields flickered. Human ships were already gone. They're not trying to win battles, an Imperium captain said in confusion. They're dismantling us, another replied. Unicho flew low along the edge of a broken moon. Her ship hugged the rock, engines whispering. Ahead of her, an Imperium defense platform turned too slowly. She did not feel anger. She felt focus. She released a single charge and pulled away. The platform went dark. Drifting, her hands trembled only after. Supark watched damage reports scroll across his screen from a forward repair hub. Human ships returned with scars, but they returned alive. Systems worked as planned. Engines held. They're adapting already, he said. Around him, crews repaired holes in record time. Parts were swapped, not replaced. Human design favored flexibility over perfection. IM commanders gathered in emergency councils. Their borders were failing, but no planets were burning. No surrender demands came. This is not war, one shouted. No, another said quietly. It is correction. On the ground of a minor Imperium world, citizens stared at dark skies. Ships did not arrive. Trade ports stood empty. For the first time in generations, the Imperium felt far away. Whispers began. Maybe the Imperium could bleed. Arakim's work spread through human command. Her analysis guided each move. Strike where pride lived. Break symbols, not cities. They rule through fear, she said during a briefing. Show mercy, and their fear collapses. Human fleets bypassed civilian zones. When Imperium ships powered down in surrender, humans let them go. Stories traveled faster than ships. Hannah Lee served aboard a medical vessel now stationed near the front. The ship carried no heavy weapons. Its markings were clear and bright. In parend. Wounded arrived first with shock in their eyes. They expected cages. They found clean beds and quiet voices. Hannah treated burns and broken bones without asking names. Why? One Imperium soldier asked her. Because the war isn't with you, she replied. The soldier cried. Imperium admirals argued strategy, but none worked. Their formations were rigid, their commands centralized. When human strikes severed leadership links, entire fleets froze. One system fell without a single human casualty. Jahan observed it all with steady eyes. Advance, he said again. Human fleets pushed deeper. Each system taken weakened the next. Client species watched closely. Some shut their gates to Imperium forces. Others quietly sent supplies to human ships. The Imperium's image cracked on an outer world. A local governor refused an Imperium order for the first time. We are no longer protected, she said. Only controlled. Imperium forces moved to punish her. They never arrived. Unicho escorted evacuation ships through contested space. She guided civilians through gaps only human sensors could read. She had never seen these species before. They thanked her anyway. I'm just a pilot, she said. But she felt different now. Supark pushed engine designs beyond safety limits. Ships ran hotter, faster. Losses were minimal. Human crews accepted risk with calm understanding. This is what we trained for, he told a young technician. The Imperium tried one final show of force. A massive fleet gathered at a fortress system. Near their core, they broadcast threats. Humanity answered with silence. When the battle came, it was short. Human ships disabled command nodes first, then supply lines. Then engines. The Imperium fleet drifted. Helpless human ships surrounded them. They did not fire. A message went out instead. Stand down. One by one, Imperium ships complied. Across the galaxy, the truth became clear. Earth had survived. Earth had learned, and now humanity was no longer defending. They were advancing. On Earth, children returned to school. Cities rebuilt stronger than before. The sky remained peaceful, but far beyond it. The Imperium felt footsteps approaching its heart. Slow, steady, unstoppable. The Imperium began to break from the inside. It did not happen all at once. There was no great speech, no single moment of collapse. It happened quietly, the way fear spreads when it has nowhere left to hide. Human fleets moved closer to the Imperium core systems. They did not rush. They secured each system, repaired what they damaged, and moved on. Supply lines that once fed the Imperium now fed rebellion. Jahan studied reports that came in faster every day. Client worlds refused orders. Patrol fleets delayed responses. Governors asked questions they had never dared to ask before. They are realizing the truth, he said. The Imperium cannot protect them. Arakim worked beside him, sorting through intercepted messages. Many were desperate. Some were angry. A few asked for help. They ruled by fear, she said. Now fear has changed sides. Imperium tried to answer with force. Loyal fleets were sent to punish disobedient systems. But human ships appeared first, not to fight, but to block. They held positions calmly. Clearly, admirals hesitated. That hesitation spread. On a former mining world, Imperium troops landed to restore order. The population gathered in silence. No weapons were raised against them. Instead, human broadcasts filled the air. Images of destroyed Earth cities, records of Imperium lies. Footage of Imperium soldiers treated on human medical ships. The troops lowered their weapons. Hannah Lee walked through the corridors of the hospital ship with tired steps. The ship was fuller than ever. Humans, Imperium soldiers, and civilians lay side by side. Pain sounded the same in every language. She stopped beside a young Imperium officer who stared at the ceiling. They told us humans were cruel, he said quietly. Hannah checked his Bandage. They told us many things, she replied. Outside the ship, fleets drifted in uneasy calm. No one fired. No one ran. Unicho watched the stars from her cockpit. She had escorted so many ships now that the fear had dulled into routine. Still, she remembered her first flight into combat. She had shaken then. Now she breathed slow and steady. Path is clear, she said into the channel. Sue Park faced a different challenge. The deeper humanity moved, the longer the supply line stretched. Ships needed repairs faster. Crews grew tired, so he changed the rules. Mobile repair hubs were deployed inside captured systems. Local workers were trained. Tools were shared. Help us keep this running, he told a group of former Imperium engineers. They agreed. The Imperium High Council gathered in panic. Their chambers, once loud with pride, echoed with arguments. They cannot be allowed to reach the core, one shouted. They are already here, another replied. They sent a message at last, a request for talks. The message reached Jahan within minutes. He read it once. Then again, they are afraid, Era said. Yes, he replied. But fear alone is not enough. Human fleets continued forward. Each system taken revealed more truths. Forced labor camps. Hidden prisons. Entire species erased from records. These discoveries spread through the galaxy. The Imperium's image shattered, client worlds rose up. Some peacefully. Some violently. Human fleets intervened only to stop slaughter, never to rule. Yuna escorted refugees from a burning Imperium base. Smoke filled the void behind them. Where will you go? One asked her. Somewhere safe, she said. For the first time, she believed it. On Earth, news arrived daily. People watched the slow march with quiet understanding. There were no parades, no cheers, only resolved. Jahan addressed the council again. We are close, he said. What we do next will shape everything. Some wanted to end the Imperium forever. Others feared what would follow. Hannah's reports spoke of shared meals, shared grief, shared hope. Era's data showed the Imperium. Core was exposed. The choice was clear. Human fleets reached the outer defenses of the Imperium capital system. They stopped, across the void. The Imperium waited, surrounded, silent, stripped of certainty, for the first time in its long history. The Imperium was not sure it would survive, and Earth was watching not with anger, but with judgment. The Imperium capital system lay ahead. Bright and fragile, human fleets held their position at the edge of it. Thousands of ships rested in careful formation, not tight, not proud, but ready. No weapons fired. No engines burned hot. The silence was complete. Inside the Imperium capital, panic moved through halls once built for certainty. Leaders argued. Advisors begged. Old symbols of power felt, small under the weight of truth. They'd expected fire. They received restraint. Jahan stood in the command chamber and watched the system map glow. The heart of the Imperium pulsed before him. He felt no joy. Only responsibility? We stop here, he said. Some officers stiffened. Others relaxed. Era Kim stepped closer, holding a data slate filled with evidence gathered from every conquered system. Records of crimes, lies, broken worlds. They cannot deny this, she said. They will try, Jahan replied. But denial will not save them. A channel opened. The Imperium High Council appeared on the main screen. Their forms looked smaller than expected. Tired, afraid. You have reached our home, one of them said. What do you want? Jahan did not raise his voice. We want it to end, he said. You struck Earth first. You believed fear would protect you. It did not. The council members spoke among themselves in sharp whispers. We will surrender, one said at last. Name your price. Jahan shook his head slowly. We do not want your worlds, he said. We do not want your throne. The council stared. Era stepped forward and shared the data. It flooded their systems. Every crime, every hidden camp, Every erased species, you will dismantle the Imperium, Jahan said. Your fleets, your forced rule, your silence. Council member laughed weakly. That would end us, he said. Yes, Jahan replied. That is the point. Silence followed. Far from the capital, Hannah Lee stood in a medical bay watching wounded beings sleep. She had treated so many from so many worlds that faces blurred together. She thought of Earth, of the first strike, of fear. Then she thought of this moment. She felt no hate. Unicho waited in her cockpit, hands steady on the controls. She watched the capital system through filtered glass. If they fire, she whispered, we will answer. But no weapons powered up. Supark listened to engine readings across the fleet. Everything was ready. Everything was calm. We built this right, he said quietly. Back in the capital, the Imperium Council broke. They argued until voices cracked. Until truth pressed too hard to escape, finally. A single message was sent across the galaxy. The Imperium admitted its crimes. It announced its dissolution, its fleets powered down, across countless worlds. Beings watched in disbelief. Empires did not end like this, but this one did. Human fleets did not move forward. They did not celebrate. They held position until the last Imperium command node went dark. Then they turned away. Han watched the retreat with careful eyes. Begin withdrawal, he said. Some officers looked surprised. We are done here, he added. On Earth, news arrived in quiet waves. People gathered in streets and homes. They listened. They held hands. There were no fireworks, only relief. Hannah returned home weeks later. The cities were scarred but alive. Children laughed again. Builders worked side by side. She walked beneath open sky and breathed deeply. Yuna landed her ship for the last time and stepped onto solid ground. She felt older than before. Stronger, Sue. Park shut down a shipyard light and smiled faintly. Ara Kim archived the final records of the Imperium. She labeled them carefully. Never again, she said. Jahan stood alone one night, looking up at the stars. Humanity had changed the galaxy, not by fire, but by choice. Earth rebuilt. It did not rule. It did not retreat. It watched, and the galaxy learned a simple truth. You can strike Earth first, but you will never be safe again. Galaxy did not return to normal. It tried. Trade routes reopened. Councils formed. New alliances were spoken of with careful words. But the space where the Imperium had ruled felt different. Like a wound that had closed but left a scar. Human fleets withdrew to agreed borders and then farther. They did not patrol foreign systems. They did not place flags or demand tribute that made everyone uneasy. Jahan watched reports from Earth and beyond. Requests came every day. Worlds asking for protection. Others asking for guidance. Some asking for forgiveness for past silence. We cannot become what they were. He said to the council. The council agreed. Humanity chose distance, not dominance. Arakim worked on a new archive, open to all species. It held records of the Imperium's rise and fall written in clear language, possible to hide. Memory is protection, she said. Across former Imperium space, small wars flared. Old rivalries surfaced. Without a single ruler, many worlds struggled. Humanity did not rush in. Instead, they sent observers. Hannah Lee joined one such mission. She traveled aboard a relief ship marked only with medical symbols. The ship carried food, medicine, and engineers. On a broken world, she treated children born under Imperium rule who had never seen a human before. Are you soldiers? One asked her. No, Hannah said gently. We help. Some believed her, some did not. Unicho trained new pilots now. Young men and women who had grown up during the war listened closely to her quiet instructions. Speed matters, she told them, but patience matters more. They asked her about the capital system. About the moment the Imperium ended, She never exaggerated. It ended because it was empty inside, she said. Supark faced a different task. Ships returned older than they had left, metal tired. Systems worn. He redesigned fleets for peace. Cargo first. Rescue second. Defense last. We should never need this much fire again, he said. Still, humanity prepared. Not with threats, with readiness. In distant systems, a new power watched quietly. Remnants of Imperium elites had fled beyond mapped space. They whispered of revenge and unity. They sent spies. Some never returned. Others came back with stories they did not like. Earth was stronger than before. Not louder. Not crueler. Just awake. Jehan received one final message from a hidden Imperium cell. It carried anger and promise of future war. He deleted it without reply. They still think in old shapes, said. Earth's people lived on. Cities grew greener. Shelters became homes. Children learned about the strike as history, not fear. Hannah walked through a rebuilt park, where broken towers once stood. She watched people laugh. The sky was calm. Far beyond it, the galaxy adjusted. No empire ruled it now, only memory and a quiet understanding. Shared among the stars, do not strike Earth first, because humanity will answer, not with rage, but with the end of. Everything you believed protected you. The warning did not come with noise or fire, it came as absence. A listening post beyond. Mapped space failed to report in. Then another. Their last messages were clean and normal, ending in the middle of routine checks. No distress. No signal spike. Jehan read the report twice. Send observers, said. Human ships moved carefully, slow, and spread wide. They found the posts intact, power running, logs untouched. Crews were gone, no signs of struggle, no bodies, just emptiness. Arakim compared the data with old Imperium archives. She found a name that appeared only once, buried under warnings and sealed notes. The Veil Compact, she said. They lived beyond borders. They erased threats by removing them. Jehan listened. They were a myth, he said. Imperium myths usually hide fear, Ura replied. Across the galaxy, rumors returned. Traders spoke of ships swallowed by shadow, of stars dimming for hours, of routes that bent the wrong way. Humanity did not panic. They prepared, Yuna. Cho flew patrol along a dark corridor where sensors struggled. She trusted her instincts more than instruments now. The stars ahead looked thin, stretched. Something is wrong, she said quietly. Her wingmate did not answer. The channel was open, empty. Hannah. Lee joined a rescue mission near a fringe world. The people there had vanished from cities without damage. Meals left untouched. Doors open. Children's drawings lay on floors. Hannah felt cold. This is not war, she said. This is removal. Supark examined wreckage brought back by drones. The metal was not burned or cut. It looked rewritten, as if space itself had pressed it flat. Our shields won't stop this, he said. Not yet, Jehan called, a quiet counsel. We will not chase ghosts, he said. We will make ourselves hard to erase. Humanity changed posture again. Not outward-inward networks decentralized further. Commands split into layers that could survive loss. Civilian ships were taught to hide, to scatter. To vanish. Earth dimmed its signature. The Veil Compact watched. They had erased empires before. Loud ones, cruel ones, predictable ones. Humanity was different. When the Compact finally revealed itself, it did not attack Earth. It spoke. The message reached Jehan alone. No image, no sound. Meaning pressed directly into thought, you destabilized. Order, it said. Jehan answered with words. Order built on fear collapses. Silence followed. Then pressure. Human outposts vanished. Human fleets did not surge. Forward, they pulled back. They let the galaxy see restraint again. Ara. Kim released the truth to all worlds. the compact, the erasures. The choice: hide alone, she broadcast, or stand together. Worlds remembered the imprimed. Trade ships shared sensor data. Minor fleets guarded civilians. Signals overlapped and confused the dark. The Veil Compact struck again. This time, they failed. A human convoy scattered into hundreds of false paths. The erasure took none. Una guided ships through impossible turns. She smiled for the first time in weeks. They can't pin us, she said. Hannah treated survivors shaken but alive. She held hands. She listened. Fear passed. Resolve stayed. Supark unveiled a new shield. Not stronger, but uncertain. It bent probability, not force. Try to erase that, he said. The compact retreated into shadow. Not defeated, warned, Jahan sent one final message into the dark. We do not seek to rule, it said. We seek to endure. The galaxy breathed again. Earth stayed. Quiet, watchful humanity had learned a final. Lesson survival was not about striking first. It was about refusing to disappear. The galaxy settled into a careful quiet. It was not peace. It was awareness. After the Veil Compact pulled back, no great celebration followed. Worlds did not cheer. Fleets did not gather. Everyone understood that something had changed again. Something deeper than borders or power. Humanity did not chase the shadow. They strengthened the light. J. Han reviewed the final reports in a calm room overlooking Earth. The planet below looked whole again. Oceans blue. Cities bright but controlled. Humanity had learned how to exist without shouting into the stars. They are still watching us, an officer said. Yes, Jahan replied. And now they know we watch back? Across many systems, joint councils formed for the first time. Not empires. Not alliances built on fear. Simple agreements. Shared warnings. Open signals. Humanity did not lead them, but humanity anchored them. Era Kim helped build the shared archive. Every species added to it. History, mistakes, wars, losses. Nothing hidden. When lies disappear, she said, fear follows. Worlds resisted the idea. They were used to secrets. Those worlds stood alone. Hannah Lee returned to Earth for rest, but she did not stay long. Requests for aid kept coming. She moved from world to world, helping rebuild places that had never known choice before. On one small planet, a child asked her why humans helped without asking for control. Hannah thought for a moment. Because we remember what it feels like to be small, she said. Why UNHO flew less now. She trained, advised, watched. Space felt different after everything she had seen. Less empty. More fragile. She took a patrol flight one last time, just beyond known space. Nothing followed her, but something noticed. Supark completed the final redesign of the human fleet. Ships were lighter. Systems shared power instead of hoarding it. Escape mattered as much as strength. If we scare the dark, he said, it grows teeth. Far away, deep beyond map stars, the Veil Compact observed the changes. Humanity did not expand, did not hunt, did not dominate. That confused them. They had erased threats before. Loud threats, hungry threats. Humanity was neither a signal moved through the shadow, not hostile, not friendly, curious. Jahan received it through layered filters. It carried no demand, only a question. Why do you endure? He answered without anger. Because we choose to. Signal faded. Days passed. Then months, no erasures came. The galaxy adapted to a new rule. One never written down, but clearly understood. Power that strikes first will be answered. Power that listens may survive. Earth continued forward. Children studied stars without fear. Ships traveled without hiding. Humanity stayed ready, not restless. Hannah stood on a hill where a city once burned. Green life covered the scars now, Una. Watched a sunrise from orbit. Sue powered down a yard that would never need to build warships. Again, Era closed the archive for the night. Han looked into the sky. Humanity had not claimed the galaxy, but it had changed its direction, and somewhere in the dark, even the Watchers understood one simple truth. Earth does not need to rule the stars. It only needs to stand, and it will. Time moved forward. Slow and steady, the galaxy learned how to breathe again. Years passed after the fall of the Imperium and the retreat of the Veil Compact. No single power rose to replace them. Instead, space filled with careful movement, shared warnings, and quiet respect for boundaries, humanity stayed. True to its choice, it did not rule, it did not hide. It remained present. Han grew older. Lines marked his face now, earned through patience rather than stress. He spent more time listening than directing. Young leaders took his place in councils, guided by lessons learned during the war. The galaxy will test you, he told them. Let it. Do not rush to answer every threat. They listened. Era Kim watched the shared archive grow into something living. New species added their histories. Some were painful, some were hopeful. All were honest. Truth became common ground. Worlds that once feared speaking now told their stories openly. Crimes were recorded. Forgiveness was debated. Memory was preserved. Hannah Lee returned to Earth at last, not to rest, but to teach. She trained new medical crews for deep space relief. She taught them how to treat wounds that were not physical. Fear lasts longer than scars, she said. Be patient with it, her students remembered. Unicho retired from active flight. She stood at launch fields and watched new pilots rise into the sky. She felt pride without hunger for more. Space no longer called to her as a battlefield. It felt like a home. Sue Park finished his final project. A shipyard designed not to build warships, but to dismantle them safely. Old weapons were broken down, repurposed into stations, transports, and shelters. Strength should not rust, he said. It should change. Far beyond known space, faint signals moved and faded. The Veil Compact did not return. They watched from distance, cautious now. Humanity was no longer simple prey, nor was it a predator. It was something unfamiliar on a small neutral world. A dispute broke out between two species. In another age, it would have become war. This time, observers arrived first. Human, alien, shared. They listened. The conflict ended with words. Not all problems vanished. Pirates still existed. Fear still rose. Some worlds still chose violence. Humanity answered when needed. Never first, always last. Han stood one evening beneath Earth's open sky. Stars filled the dark, calm and endless. He remembered the night the sky had broken. He remembered silence. Now the silence. It felt different, not empty. Respectful, a message arrived from a distant council, newly formed. It asked a simple question. What is humanity's place? Han thought for a long moment. Then he replied, We stand where we always have, the message said. Between fear and choice? The answer spread. Children on Earth learned history without hatred. They studied the Imperium not as monsters, but as a warning. They studied the war not as glory, but as responsibility. Hannah watched them learn, and felt hope settled deep in her chest. UNA watched. Ships crossed the sky and felt peace. Sue watched old weapons become bridges. Era watched truth protect the future. The galaxy did not forget Earth. It did not fear it either. It respected it, and that was enough, because every world now understood one final lesson. If you strike Earth first, humanity will answer. If you stand beside Earth, humanity will stand with you. And if you choose peace, humanity will remember that too.